Hello and welcome to another video. This is video number 2 in which I'm actually providing more information concerning the importance of the strong bioenergy field and how it can actually contribute towards the delayed or slowing down your physical aging. This is very, very important. And in my previous video, I have already talked about the three particular parts that are actually contributing towards you strengthening the bioenergy field. And in this video, I'm going to explain the internal processes that are directly linked to your bioenergy field and how internally, or your physical body, reflects what is actually present in the outside of yourself, which is your luminous cocoon, or your bioenergy field, or your aura. And basically there's no separation between the two, because they are both one. However, the difference is in the actual aggregate state, which means that one, which we cannot see, we cannot feel, we can only perceive that if we have that level of consciousness to be able to perceive that and maybe even see it. That's the energy or the cocoon. And the second one, which is palatable, which is actually seen, which is physically available, and that is the body. But in fact, they are one. The only difference is the actual amount of the physical energy that has been compacted together, and you're the guest. The more compacted the energy gets, it gets actually slowed down in its flow and intensity. It becomes so-called solid. And this is what we actually perceive as a physical body, and this is what we identify, and this is what serves as an anchor for us to be in this particular field. However, in order for you to understand what I'm going to talk about further on in this video, I would suggest, if you've not seen the previous video, that you click the link below for the previous video, and maybe have a look at the video first and then come back on to this video. Also, if I can ask, if you like the video, please smack like at the bottom, because that will actually help me to get this video to more people who might be looking for this type of information for themselves. So let's go back to the subject. The strong bioenergy field actually provides a direct source of information to your cells, and even below your cellular structure, that is your subatomic structure. Now, you may ask yourself, why is that relevant or important? Well, it is, because what we call aging is nothing but a software that is basically engraved into every one of us in something that's called DNA. And that is the literally eternal knowledge that's been passed on to countless numbers of generations before us, and that we will pass on for the next generations after us. And basically all that is a pure knowledge of life. And within that knowledge of life exists the so-called aging software, which basically regulates the time that we as spiritual beings or pure energy spend and occupy the physical body on display. Now, I know that we've been conditioned since birth that we have a very limited and a very short dwelling on this planet. We can actually see numerous examples of people living relatively short lives, and also you can see occasionally somebody living longer lives. That's a combination of everything, really. But mainly, people living longer lives means that they have a strong genetic coding. Also, they have some understanding of how they function below the conscious awareness. And they are actually doing everything they can to literally slow down that particular aging process. And this video will actually explain to you how it works. So, the aging process itself is literally very simple. When we're born, we are actually having a very strong bioenergy field. Very strong. And basically the strength is measured with the luminosity of the actual field, which means in our younger years, from the birth until maybe we are 25, the field is literally highly, highly luminous. From the age of 25, the level of luminosity goes down, which means that the level of energy that flows within your bioenergy field is starting to drop, starting to lower its intensity of flow. And why is it happening? The simple explanation is called life. And within that, there is a myriad of things that are coming to you. Through living, you're going through many experiences, many encounters, physical, mental, spiritual, that are affecting you from within. I explained that in the previous video, the thoughts and emotions. That's why I said it's important to check the previous video. But nevertheless, all that impacts you, particularly emotionally. And on the other side as well, through your physical activity or excessive physical activity or lack of physical activity, that's literally the same but a different effect. Your lifestyle, what you eat, drink, sleep, and everything else that comes with that. All that really, and your exposure to the electromagnetic field coming from the all different man-made objects such as computers, phones, blah blah blah, aerials, and all this stuff that's coming into contact with you on a daily basis, and which were contaminated from within our own cells, and all that has direct impact on the flow or intensity of the energy flowing within the main energy superhighways and those intermittent sort of flows between those large energy superhighways. And unfortunately, that basically even diverts, reduces the flow, and it creates a number of different energy obstacles that are preventing the normal flow, and all that directly impacts onto the supply of energy into your subcellular structure. Now, why is that important? Because the less energy you have coming in, first of all, two things. First is information. Your cells are basically working on the basis of luminosity. The luminosity I talked about from birth to age of 25 is literally translated into your subcellular structure. That means your subcellular structure, if you look at it through the microscope, through special instruments, are basically glowing. That means that full of information, the cells know exactly what they need to do, they're dividing at exactly the right speed. So that means that you are firing at all cylinders, you are extremely productive, you are on top of your game, you're 100% on in everything you do. Of course, there's variations on the subject, as I said before, depending on lifestyle and everything else. But that is a general concept here that we need to take into account. And depending on the actual number of obstacles that you're getting in your life, you're affecting that particular flow, and that automatically reflects onto your subcellular structure, automatically. In direct proportion to how much your luminosity in your bioenergy field reduces. Likewise, it is reflected into your subcellular structure. So it means there's less information proportionally coming into your subcellular structure, and also there's less light, which means there's less energy, less life in you, in your physical body. And with that less life in you, in your physical body, predetermines everything else that you have been doing before. It has a direct impact on your ability to act physically, mentally, spiritually, and cognitively, which is also in psychological terms. So the whole shebang of your activities on a daily basis is now affected. This is how it works. And with that, as it gets affected through the actual aging software, it automatically impacts the production of your cells, and through that there's a reduced now sort of production of cells, and reduced production of cells, you're starting to see the difference in your physical body. This is what we are calling aging. Very important to note. Now, aging is given. Whether we like it or not, it is set, it works, it ticks as the times go by. So there's nothing we can do about it. But what we can do is we can work on increasing the charge of energy flowing in our bioenergy field. We will still continue to age, of course. We will still continue to have diminished physical, mental, and other capabilities that we have had when we were younger. But the graph is not going to be steep reduction, it's going to be rather softer. So that means you will age, because that's the way things are, that's the program. But you're not going to age proportionate to what you would be if you did not apply the certain exercises or certain strategies in your life that will actually enable you to physically increase your bioenergy field and keep it that way for the purpose of you feeling physically in a much better place. That means you're healthier, you're more aware, you're more acutely in the present moment, and even your physical abilities are better than what they would be if you didn't do these particular exercises and life saving strategies. And the greatest contributor towards effectively reducing your aging process is making sure that your endocrine system or your hormonal system is working in the top order. Why is that important? Because your endocrine system actually works on the basis of specific electromagnetic values that need to be correct at all times. Any variations in that particular electromagnetic charge automatically affects the performance of your glands. And in return, it comes to disbalance in case there's a less of a charge, or you're under some mental or physical strains, and that can actually cause the imbalance. There's no problem. The body is designed to deal with the shocks for a very short time, even for a bit of longer periods, and so on and so forth. But the problem starts if that is constant, and if nothing is done about to effectively deal with that particular problem. This is why we are having the so-called dysfunctions at the internal levels, which is your inner organs. Your hormonal system basically regulates the work of your inner organs, and all your inner organs are, again, linked to your hormonal system, and at the same time they are acutely linked to your bioenergy field. And you cannot truly be healthy and in fully healthy and firing on all cylinders if your inner organs are not in a pristine order. In order for you to reduce the biological or to slow down the biological aging, inner organs are playing an absolutely important role. But before we get into that, the most, how can I say, the most important part in the hierarchy of all inner organs, because they're all extremely important, every one of them, it's one system. It's not like in Western medicine or allopathic medicine is divided into heart and spleen and whatever the digestive system and so on and so forth. No, they're all working as one. They have a specific function, but they all work as one system. But within that system, the hormonal system plays the regulator of everything that goes from within. And as such, it actually acts as an aerial of your bioenergy field, and actually connects, of course, each and one of your inner organs is directly linked. Every cell is linked to the actual bioenergy field. But in terms of the hierarchy and how the things are actually from within that one system are organized, your endocrine system or hormonal system is the king. Everything literally goes through there. So the whole system, how it works, has to work as one. And that oneness comes from the actual oneness of the endocrine system, all 7 glands working in a perfect harmony with one another. They're perfectly balanced and they perfectly communicate with each and one of them. And immediately that cohesion and that synergy creates the homeostasis and the sense of health and well-being and normality within the whole system that we call the inner organs. That is important. That inner sanctimony, or that inner sanctuary, if you wish, has to be kept holy, because there is no health at any level, mental, physical, spiritual, without having a impeccably working inner organs. And your inner organs are, on a physical level, directly responding to the biochemistry in the body, of which the major part is formed by the hormones created by your endocrine system. That is the key. And all that synchronicity, all that unity comes from the strong bioenergy field. The moment, through the process of aging, through the process of the workings of life, your emotions will start to directly influence the workings of your endocrine system. Typical example you can see here. I have a problem here. I'm not a problem. I've resolved it. It was a problem 10 years ago, but not anymore. And this is the thyroid gland. As you can see, it's a little bit more pronounced because of the extreme stresses I suffered in the earlier parts of my life. And I have had major problems, but I resolved it through the practice of my program. I have actually managed to regulate everything. That's worked perfectly. The only thing I cannot manage so far is to shrink it back in, because it's been so battered. And it was absolutely enormous. I mean, I reduced it as much as I could. I'm still working on it. It's a work in progress, but as you can see, is still not withdrawn to its original size. So everything else is healed, everything else is now in a perfect working order, but I still am not managing at a physical level. The gland works perfectly as it is. It's perfectly normal. All tests are 100% normal, and it's perfectly aligned with every single other gland in the system. But because of the backstring that I see in life on an emotional level, it has actually exploded. And because of that explosion in a physical level, it pushed it out. And it's difficult now to bring it back. So unless I operate, I don't want to operate it. So it's the way that it is. It's just an example. So for that reason, it is important to make sure that your inner organs are in a pristine order through the workings of your bioenergy field. Now, in my sort of program, at the very beginning, and this is the foundation. I'm teaching the 4 particular parts, which are absolutely necessary to start the whole thing and to start the process of self-regulation. And those 4 parts are as follows. The first thing is to learn to keep a good posture. Very important. Number 2 is to learn to breathe correctly. And once you learn various breathing techniques, you can then start to, through your breath, regulate your emotional states. Very important. Number 3 is to learn specific energy generation, but before that, release of negative energy from your bioenergy system. Number 1. Number 2, learn how to basically process released negative energy who has now been cleansed through the Mother Earth, come back to you in a pure and a clean form. How to draw it back into your bioenergy field. And the 4th aspect, which is very important, is to be mentally and spiritually locked in the present moment. That means to control your thoughts and your emotions. Once you learn all these things in terms of the how to regulate your physicality and how to pay attention to what is going on in your mental and spiritual realm, you will then be able, this is a very, very basic level, but without that basic level, you cannot move on to any higher levels of teaching and practicing, because you will have no tools with which to be able to do anything meaningful that will have an impact, positive impact onto you, creating the actual strong bioenergy field that you're looking for. So for that reason, it is important to learn these 4 aspects, and I will talk more about them in my in the videos that will come after this one here. But nevertheless, I would like to again state the importance of minding and being extremely careful about the workings of your inner organs. And in order to do that, you need to work to stimulate your bioenergy field. If you like this video, I'd like you to press like. Also, you can leave your comments below this video if you have any questions. I will also put my direct emails. You can send me an emails and ask me questions concerning this video or any other questions you may have. And I will look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye.